How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. So we've discussed recently the idea of trading Spencer Jones for, a player like Garrett Crochet of the White Sox. But what if the Yankees tried to go for a Cy Young candidate like Tariq Skubal? And I know this is not going to be a one-for-one deal. It's going to be far from it. And the Orioles are probably better positioned to make this move than us. Probably. They absolutely are better positioned to make this move than us. They may, in fact, do that. But if the Yankees wanted to go after a player of this caliber, it starts with Spencer Jones. In fact, it could even start with Jason Dominguez. This is kind of a situation I wanted to discuss if they should be going all in at this level. It is about Tariq, but it's also about, do the Yankees want to go into the trade deadline thinking we need to go for a Cy Young caliber guy? Do we need to go for, and I think Crochet is really good. I wouldn't say he's Cy Young caliber. I think he's really good. He has had some injury history. He hasn't pitched a lot of innings in the past, but he would obviously be a very nice impact piece for us this year. But Ryan, when it comes to Tariq, how do you feel about this? I think it starts with Jones, and that's just saying the baseline. Where do you think the Yankees would have to go in terms of making this even look realistic? I don't even think they could even come close to what the Orioles could offer him.
No, they can't come close to what Baltimore can offer. And yeah, it starts with Dominguez. It starts with Jason Dominguez. That's where it starts, because Jason Dominguez is their best prospect. Jason Dominguez is, the guy that like everyone's enamored with. He was ranked number 7 on Baseball Prospectus. Baseball America's top 100. I believe he ranked in the top 20 on Baseball Prospectus as well. They dropped their list. They actually included Augustin Ramirez, 33rd. Jason Dominguez ranked 9th, excuse me. So Jason Dominguez is kind of a consensus top 10 prospect. I think Ramirez being 33rd on that board is really exciting, because I think other outlets will start ranking him more aggressively. Not saying they're going to put him 33rd, but I think he will be in the top 100 of a lot of lists. And, Alex, I think they're the Yankees' top 3 in their farm system. Dominguez, Jones, Ramirez is really talented, and really it can attract the right teams, but Baltimore has that and then some. They have Samuel Basallo, Kobe Mayo, MLB ready guys. They have Cade Povich, who I know hasn't pitched well to start his career, but Alex, I think you and I are more than aware that prospect status isn't reflected on like 5 starts at the major league level. It's reflected on your overall body of work, your talent. Jones is a great example of like a prospect who their prospect status is dependent on their talent, not necessarily their results. It's the fact that Spencer Jones can do things other people can't. It's the upside he has to be a potential superstar. We've talked about that before. He hasn't realized it this year. Not saying he isn't aware of it. He hasn't realized it as in the results haven't been there. But he's more than capable of making that leap. And then looking at some of the other guys in the Yankee organization, they have depth, but they don't have like that wide array of top 100 guys. In a world where Henry LaLane and Chase Hampton don't both have injuries start the year, maybe we're talking about a Yankee farm that is capable of making that trade. But yeah, the Orioles are going to outbid them. They're going to. I don't think the Orioles or the Dodgers are going to end up with Skubal. I think Skubal stays. I think the Tigers, the guy's an absolute stud. Like you mentioned, the gap between him and Crochet, it's pretty massive. I'm sure you're going to jump in and say something. But in terms of with Skubal and Crochet, it's not close. It's really not. He's like, by far, I think he's the Cy Young winner right now. So
yeah. No, sorry, my air conditioner is like going. So I had to turn that off. But no, I 100% agree. And listen, for this Yankee team, what we need right now, and Ryan, you can kind of chime in whenever you feel necessary. This is a team that I don't think the starting rotation is the biggest need. And I don't think it's even close. I don't trust Rodon. I get that out of the way right now. I think that he is a liability. I am not giving him the rock in the playoffs at this moment as we speak. His fastball, velocity-wise, is fine. But location-wise is horrible. He can't locate it. The slider, that one home run he gave up a couple days ago to that slider was a hung over the middle of the plate. As long as he's locating his slider, it's a very good pitch for him. I think he should be using his changeup more and his cutter a bit more. I think his fastball should be reduced to maybe a 40% usage. Right now it's about 50%. First inning, stay away from that thing at all costs because he's getting absolutely hammered. But this rotation to me, other than him, I think you get Clark Schmidt back, you're okay. Nestor's been fine for us. Garrett Cole's getting back to his usual self. You look at Stroman's been fine. I don't think this rotation's the biggest need. I think the infield's the biggest need. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the infield's a massive need. We've talked about infielders a ton, but dude, they need infield help. I think they could go get a supplementary guy and like a big, like a thumper kind of thing. I kind of tweeted this out right before we started recording. I was like, I'm almost more drawn to like an Amed Rosario than a Luis Rengifo because I'm gonna go pay for like a a speedy contact guy, and like I don't know how good they're gonna be in the second half. I'll take Rosario. Like I feel like the track record of him is pretty good. He also is a bad ball hitter, and I think that's important because how many times you're gonna you're gonna get pitched to. He's aggressive. We've seen him in the postseason. I'm pretty sure he launched a home run off Cortez in the ALDS. But he's at like I think a 117 WRC plus.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like that's. We were talking
I'll
about
take
like
that.
right, like we were talking about like we'll take that over what we currently have. Like if you
DJ is 52. 52.
Jesus Christ. Is that his age or his WRC plus?
If you combine both of them, he's retiring soon.
Dude, if you combine his age and WRC plus, it's still under 90. That's fucking
He's a World
crazy.
War II veteran.
Dude, he's old. He's old.
He's
like,
36, and it's an old 36 for DJ. Unfortunately, it's an old 36. His feet, man, they've been banged up. His feet are he's a peg leg at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, like it's crazy how far he fell. Because I remember in 22, like
So
he had like a
fast.
160 WRC plus, and it's just like it's like Donaldson, right? Like Donaldson went from oh my god he can hit 20 home runs a year and help you out to he sucks, like it's
Power's gone.
Right, it happens so fast. I know you can speak any sport. The regression isn't slow and gradual. It's you go from good to bad, right? Like it's like that. And I think the Yankees missed the curb on that. But I wanted to shoot one thing back at you with the infield and kind of like with the rotation. Are you prioritizing like okay, if you could get an ace caliber pitcher or like a number 4 caliber hitter for the infield? What are you prioritizing if you're the Yankees? Like between those two, not just like a good infielder, a good pitcher. I'm talking like top of the rotation pitcher or that guy who hits behind Aaron Judge.
Well, if you like, it's kind of interesting though because if you look at the situation where you have equivalent, like let's say you have a ace pitcher, number 4 infield, like kind of hitter in your lineup. He's a number 4 guy, capable of being that good infielder. You end up paying less for the infielder than the pitcher most times. You know what I mean? So like this team, in my opinion, it doesn't come down to the starting rotation. It comes down to this bullpen being okay when the playoffs roll around and having enough offense. In the most recent playoff appearances we've had, we did not lose these games because our pitching wasn't good enough. We lost these games because our hitting wasn't good enough. We were losing 2-1 games, 1-0 games, 3-2 games, 3-1 games. We're not losing 10-3. We're getting destroyed because we can't hit. You know what I mean? We need guys who can get on base. God help me. I didn't realize I was going to miss John Birdie the way I miss John Birdie, my man. Oh my goodness, I miss that man so much. He has a 97 WRC plus last year, but he has a 94th percentile sprint speed. Guy can steal bags. This Yankee team, they talk about being balanced and getting on base and hitting for contact, but they can't run the freaking bases. They can't steal bases. They can't do it. And how are you supposed to play a balanced game where you want guys to have high batting averages and then also sluggers when you have a guy that's going to get on first base and then cannot steal second base and put yourself in a spot where you can hit them in, right? If you have a guy that's getting on first base and can't steal second, like why is Anthony Volpe not stealing bags? I mean, mainly because he's not getting on base at all, but like that's a different story. Right now I feel as though Volpe's a fine number 6, number 7 hitter. That's where he belongs the rest of the season, at least the way that he's been playing recently. The Yankees need to go out and get an infielder because they don't have a leadoff. They don't have a leadoff man, right? They need someone who's going to get on base and be a productive asset ahead of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. I do believe that Rengifo, we talked about him. We don't think the value necessarily is there. Jazz Chisholm is a good player, and I think he's going to get pitches to hit leading off. I think he could be a pretty solid option for you there. Even if he gets on base, let's say a 34% rate, not only is that better than anything that we have in the infield right now, but he is one of the best base stealers in the game. You're going to find yourself Juan Soto singles are going to be RBI singles. That's where we need to produce. We need to steal runs by playing that game. The Yankees do not play that game well, and they don't have the right leadoff man for it. I think Jazz could be a really good option for this team. He also brings a little bit of freaking aura and energy. Like, God help us if we're not the most boring team in baseball year in and year out. What are we doing? Like, come on. Like, talk some smack. Have some fun. It's a damn game. Like, I get, like, be respectful, respect the traditions, respect the pinstripes, all for that, but have some freaking fun. Juan Soto, love the aura. The rest of these guys look like they're freaking bored out there sometimes, and I can't, for the life of me, understand how they don't understand how grateful they should be to be in the spot that they're in and show that energy. Have excitement, hold your head high, have some damn pride for being a New York Yankee. Personally, I think we lose that sometimes when the losing streaks happen. Jazz is going to give you that energy even when we are losing because he's coming from a freaking horrible Miami Marlins team.
Yeah, it feels like they can't stop slides, right? Like it's so
Yeah.
weird. And like that game on Sunday was just like it made you feel like, dude, there are just some guys on this team who don't have it, right? Like it was that kind of like initial immediate emotional reaction. Like, dude, I crashed out over that game, dude. Like I was fucking pissed. No, part of my French, but that game really upset me. This team needs to have a little more. Like it's incredible. Like Aaron Hicks talked about. Remember a few years ago the comment, got to have some FU. Does this team have FU? I don't think they do, right? Like I really don't. I don't think a lot of these guys do. I think they need a little more of that like energetic, less, hey, can Judge drive me in? Hey, can Judge say the right thing? Hey, can Judge be the leader? Hey, can, like, I'm at the point, like, do I care that Aaron Boone says things I don't necessarily find inspiring to the media? Not necessarily. Like, I care about who he plays and who he doesn't play and where he hits guys in the lineup. That's what I care about, who he brings out of the bullpen. It shouldn't, like, I'm not saying this to deflect blame from Boone and Judge or whoever the leadership is, whatever. I'm saying to say, like, is anybody else is anybody else ever gonna be asked to be a leader and energizing force in that locker room? Like, why can't I ask my veteran DJ LeMahieu to be a leader? Why can't I ask, I know Rizzo, he's hurt, so like I understand it's a little different. But like who do you turn to as like this is the secondary leader on this team? This is a guy who's like, it's Garrett Cole probably, but that's pitching, that's different. Pitching is slumped, but the offense, it's just uninspiring, right? Like it's just uninspiring. I also need somebody in Volpe's ear, dude. Stop being a fucking slap hitter. You don't have the contact rate. You're not Luis Ariz, and that's fine. But dude, he can't hit a ball. It feels like he hits a ball in the infield. It's a miracle right now. But as it pertains to kind of the deadline approach and everything, and Alex, I want to get your word on this too. They have to go all in. I don't care. Oh, Jones is our insurance plan for Soto. No, I don't care. I trade the insurance plan. I don't care. You got to win this year. This is a year to win it all. There's no reason to think of I don't care about 2025. I don't. I care about winning the World Series this year, because if I win the World Series this year, the ring is eternal. I'm telling you, like, I won't give a crap. I won't care. I won't talk about anything. Like, I don't think I'd have a single negative thought about this team next year if we won the World Series this year. Not one.
Yeah.
Not one.
No, even if we lose Juan Soto, you win a World Series this year, it was worth it, right? It was worth it. And of course, you win a World Series, you probably are keeping Juan Soto. So, I think this team needs to go all out, like you mentioned. I'm reading an article that just dropped from Andy Martino saying that the Rays are going to be sellers at the deadline, or at least they're considering it. One of the players that they say could be of interest, Isaac Paredes, would be interesting, would be a nice little grab for the Yankees. They also say other names, Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, and Amed Rosario, you referenced earlier, another guy the Yankees have had eyes on, lefty reliever Garrett Clevenger. They have considered the idea of moving Luis Gil to the bullpen, and Zach Eflin's a guy that they have, there could be potential interest in, but the Paredes one, that's a really interesting one. Ryan, you're a big fan of his. What do you think that would bring? He can play all the positions you need him to.
Dude, Isaac Paredes is a monster, dude. Isaac Paredes, you see him in the box, and like, I know, dude, the way the Yankees pitched around him, they were giving him anything to swing at. 138 WRC plus this year, 137 last year, 15 home runs this year, 31 home runs last year. Like, this is the kind of guy where, like, if I'm putting my lineup together, and he's an aggressive hitter, I wouldn't necessarily lead him off. I'd hit him fourth. I know you kind of end up with like a righty situation. I mean, maybe you go like Rice, Soto, Judge. I mean, maybe you go Paredes, Soto, Judge. I mean, I don't know, but that guy can mash. Like, he's. Could you imagine line we got, like, let's say Paredes can lead off. It's Paredes, Soto, Judge, Rice, Stanton, Dominguez. Like, oh my God, that's chills. You know what I mean? That team.
Excellent defender too. I say he's a good defender.
That team will mash. Alex, that'll be a ball club. I would be like, yep, this is my ball club. I also don't want to sleep on Brandon Lowe. Left-handed power, look at his numbers. He's pretty good. What are you going to say?
Paredes is a free agent in 2028. You have him under control for the next 4 years.
Yeah. Annie Martino, of
Sign
course,
me up,
friend
man.
of the pod, Annie Martino. Appreciate this little nugget here. Dude, I would crash out for Isak Praise. He's 25, dude. He's
Yeah,
25.
that's the kind of guy.
Come on.
Dude, you get Paredes on literally nothing in terms of financial.
Oh,
You're not paying
dude.
him anything, and then pair him with the extension of Soto. Like that's how you build. Like, would you give up Spencer Jones for a Paredes type of guy?
I would trade Spencer Jones for Isak Paredes pretty easily. Like, I wouldn't really think about that much either. Like, I would do it, and I'd feel very comfortable doing it. I know Yankee fans, like, I know that, like, the perception from Yankee fans of who they would trade and the rest of the world, like, is different.
We love
Yankee
Spencer.
fans, like, we love Spencer. Like, you and I are big Spencer Jones fans. We have him on the podcast. Good dude, good talent. I've raved about him so often. But we got to recognize, and I think Jones could recognize this too. This is a business. Like, you got to win baseball
we got to win
games.
now. We got to win now. Like, this is
Right, and also for
Spencer
Jones, it could be
is
an
not going to
opportunity
help
for him
us.
to play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
and look, right now, I think Rosarena probably ends up departing at some point. I do think that at the moment, Jones is not helping us win a chip this year. Paredes could help us win a chip this year, and I think that's really all the discussion has to be.
And next year. And we're talking about, like, don't worry about next year. Well, guess what? You have your franchise third baseman. I would do this in a heartbeat. If you're Yankees saying, I don't know who Isak is. Who you want to trade Jones for? Who? Oh, look at these. You want the... Nah, Isak Praise is a stud. He's a stud. He's built like one, too. You see that? That's a big boy in that box. That's a big boy, and I mean that complimentary.
He's going to hit 25-plus homers for this team.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Could you imagine, dude?
He almost had 100 RBIs last year. Like, this is a talented individual, my friends, and he can play every infield spot. Like, we don't need him to play shortstop, but if you needed him to play second base and John Birdie at third, you could do it. If you needed him to play first base, you could do it. Like,
if we clinch the division and we have like a game where you can kind of just like bullshit it, I do want to see Isak Praise at shortstop for shits and giggles.
Has he ever played there before?
He has
a little bit.
When he
40
play
innings,
a little
49 innings.
I do want to see a 5'11", 213-pound man play shortstop. I would Could you imagine seeing that?
That's a body. That's a body.
But that's a baseball body, dude. This dude's a tank. I know. I would love this, man.
My dude's a roadblock at third base already.
Please.
Like, yeah, that would be awesome. I think I'd be on board to trade, even though we love Jones and his upside could be tremendous. But I generally, like, you look at Paredes, and this is a guy under control for 4 more years. And he is a well above average hitter. Like, he's going to give you power. He's going to give you contact. He's going to give you everything you need. I mean, I don't even know. I have to look at, I kind of want to take a look at one thing specifically, his numbers with runners in scoring position. But in terms of like his ranking and some percentiles, this dude is pretty high up there, 90th percentile in batting run value. Let's see what he's doing with runners on base. So with runners in scoring position, I think, Ryan, you're going to enjoy this a lot. He's hitting 298 with a 390 OBP, 476 slugging, and an 866 OPS, 3 homers to 35 RBIs. He turns into this like elite contact and on base guy with runners on base. So yeah, like, this guy's a monster. If this was an option for the Yankees, this is the move that changes everything. We talked about like Matt Chapman, we've talked about Rengifo, we've talked about Jazz. Paredes is probably better long term than all of those guys. So we'll see what the Yankees do. This is the move. That's for what it's worth, that is a championship caliber acquisition. That is what a World Series team, a team looking to compete for one, that is the type of move they make at the deadline. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Maybe we'll have to do a full breakdown on Isak Paredes and see kind of what he would bring to this team. I know it was kind of like a brief overview, but maybe he deserves a little bit more attention from us, Ryan. But guys, always happy to hear your thoughts below in the YouTube comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.